Welcome back, guys, to another video, and it has been so long since my last video, like months. But I'm back, I didn't forget my password, and we have an absolute banger of a video for today.
Are you sure?
So, as you know, every year we have a science fair at my school, and this year we had to do another one, which we were told last year we wouldn't this year, but we are having to do another one. That means another model rocket science fair video, because we did one last year and we're going to keep the tradition alive and do one this year. So I chose a very cool question, I guess, and that is, will a two-stage rocket fly higher than a cluster rocket? Now, I've never built a cluster rocket, and every two-stage rocket I've built has crashed and failed. Parachute didn't deploy. So this is going to be a very interesting video.
You my little boo thing, so I'll give a hoot what you do, say girl, I know.
Now, this video has been in the making for a couple months, and the build process was a couple hours. I even went from different haircuts. I went from having long hair to a literal buzz cut. So to make it more enjoyable for you guys, I cut down the building into just a little time lapse. So here it is. Alright, so before we launch the rockets, I have to show you what the rockets look like and some of the science behind this if you want to do this project yourself. So if you want to skip to where we launch the rockets, go to the timestamps up on screen right now. So we have both rockets right here, and this is what they look like now that they're completely finished with paint and everything. So now the science-y part of these rockets. So the two-stage rocket, if you don't know how it works, you have two engines taped together, and the engines will go through the bottom of the booster and into the normal rocket itself. And then once you light the first engine, it'll fire the rocket into the sky, and then once it's burnt out, it'll ignite the second engine in this rocket. This will separate, and then this will keep flying until this engine's burnt, and then the parachute comes out and the rocket's done. To where the cluster rocket, it works a little differently. You don't have two stages. Instead, you have 3, 4, 5, however many engines you want in one stage. So for this cluster rocket, we have 3 engines. So instead of there being 2 engines that ignite at different times, like this one, we have 3 engines that ignite all at once. So that's what makes these 2 rockets different. And of course, we're trying to test which of these rockets will fly higher. And if you don't know how we're going to test this, I have our trusty Ulti-Track right here, which you can pick up from basically any hobby store that has rockets. We're going to point this at the rocket in the sky, and it's going to tell us how high the rocket went on this little knob right here. We're going to launch each rocket twice and average the height each rocket reached. So now that that sciencey part is done, let's get to the launch. But before we get to the launch, put your predictions down in the comments on which rocket you think will fly higher. Alright, two-stage rocket. Alright. Yeah. Yeah. Alright guys, future me here. So I forgot to film the second launch for the two-stage rocket, and I also forgot to film the cluster rocket launch. The cluster rocket didn't work for the first like 5 or 6 launches. So I got pretty irritated and I ended up having to buy another launch controller specifically made for cluster rockets. So when I launched the cluster rocket, the last thing I was looking to do was film it. I just wanted to get done with the experiment, but I did get all of the results. So let's move into the So now that the experiment is done, I just finished up the board and here it is. I have some lights and a bunch of other cool stuff. Hopefully we win. Now let's move on to the next science fair. Okay, so now that we have the board officially built, we have gotten the results and everything back from my school science fair, and I ended up qualifying to move on to the next science fairs. So now we're moving on and hopefully we win the big science fair now. So this new one is like just a big college in my area is hosting it, and you can win scholarships, money, and a bunch of other stuff. So hopefully we win there, but to the big science fair we go.
A few minutes later.
So sad news, we didn't win anything from the big science fair, but I did get a bunch of cool stuff, got to meet some cool people, and honestly it was a bunch of fun. I got to hang out with some friends, so it was definitely pretty fun, and I did much better this year than I did last year, the year before, so hopefully next year we will make it further. But I got a display with the board up in the rocket room with my other boards, and I got some cool stuff, got some pins, papers, and stuff. So it's pretty cool, and overall, I'd say this experiment was a success. So that's gonna about wrap it up for this video. Tell me down in the comments if you'd like me to do more model rocket videos and what else you'd like me to do. I didn't forget my password, and more videos are definitely on their way.
Are you sure?
So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.
What do you have in store? One life away we can't explore, but I don't want to get in the way no more, cause it's the type of feeling you can't ignore.